Hello, hello. This is our weekly broadcast, Smarty Life. We are here to discuss all things search, SEO, and AI. So we have a lot of new acronyms to discuss as well. I'm Ann Smarty. I'm the co-founder of Smarty Marketing. I have been in SEO for more than 20 years at this point. I feel like I've been saying 20 years for at least 3 years now. And I started back when it was Wild West territory. I feel like that is what we're experiencing now with AI as well. So that is a very exciting time to be an SEO for sure. We have new tools, new trends, new features, new platforms, new techniques to discuss every week. So we have a lot of to cover every time. With me today and always, April, our director of social. It is a great thing to have someone non-SEO with me on these little live streams because SEO is getting very much integrated into all kinds of social too. All the digital footprint is now part of SEO, as we discussed a few times already. Please subscribe and smarty.com and go through archives. You will see a lot of new things being discussed every week, and that's what we cover on these live streams to give you even more context and even more background on everything that's happening. I understand how much noise there is in the industry these days. I totally get it. There are quite a few businesses that get in touch with me saying it's insane. No one can make any sense of what's going on with Google, with its AI integrations and the new platforms that are getting very much more powerful, and like ChatGPT is getting adopted like crazy. So it's all very difficult for businesses to understand where they fit in this future of AI-driven answers and how they can remain findable online, which is something we discuss every week. We stream to a few platforms, including LinkedIn. Find me and Smarty on LinkedIn. That's where we stream our live chats every week, 1 p.m. EST. Also Twitter. I'm SEO Smarty on Twitter. Facebook to our Facebook page. Please follow Smarty Marketing over at Facebook so that you can access this little broadcasts every week to at least understand what's going on, and trying to be every time I'm trying to be very actionable and very clear. I don't like all those terms. I know you're pretty much lost in all this rag, vector indexing. Trust me, you can understand what's going on without knowing all those technical terms or how even AI works technically in technical terms. You don't need to know all of that. So I try to be very, very easy to understand on this chat. So please join, and smarty.com is the best way to know where we stream every week and which topic we are discussing. With that, today we have a very interesting topic, that is how keyword research is changing, and not so much keyword research as also keyword optimization. We are lucky still to have keyword data in our possession now, that people still search and people still click on those search results. So we still know exactly what we are ranking for and which search queries are bringing us traffic. We don't know how long we are going to have all this data, because people apparently are not searching as much. They're interacting with AI mode, they read AI overviews, they use ChatGPT, and we don't know what they're typing in ChatGPT or even AI mode unless they switch from search results. So that is all a huge question that we are going to solve as it is evolving. Today we're talking how AI is actually answering questions and how that impacts our keyword optimization and research strategies. it is fundamental to be relevant to your audience, and keyword research has been very helpful for us in understanding what kinds of problems our audience has and what they are searching for and how they interact with our website after they search for something. So it has been very helpful data. It is changing a lot. I do still use keyword research a lot to understand the client, its audience, where to start, how to segment that audience based on where they are in the sales funnel. All of that you can find when researching keywords. But unlike search engines, traditional search engines, AI isn't using keywords as straightforwardly as Google used to do that. In fact, Google has been changing as well. So what I'm saying, traditional search engines is probably like 15 years ago. So what was keyword optimization 15 years ago? We knew which search queries people use when we want to be found, and we created landing pages that would mention those keywords in all possible ways on the page. It could be the title of the page, the heading of the page, the text of the page. That is still valid. I'm sure you've seen data proving that most AI platforms are still very much keyword reliant. You can actually impact your visibility by using keywords, exact match keywords on a page. So that is still valid. That may be changing. Google is no longer matching keywords in the search query to keywords in the document. They go further. They have been doing that for many years, ever since Hummingbird update. There was also Bird update. There was also rank brain layer added to search to the search, to ranking the websites, to ordering the pages in search results. So that has been a lot of happening in Google that also changed how they treat keywords. But keyword optimization, no matter what other people would tell you, keyword optimization in its traditional way, of course, do not stuff those keywords. Do not use keywords when they do not make sense. You know, sometimes people search for something that is grammatically not correct. You do not stuff your documents with those just to be found. But using keywords is still very, very valid. You do not ignore them even today. But what's happening is that it is not enough. And the new technique that AI is using, Google calls it fan out technique. It's pretty new term. I think it's like 2 months or 3 months old. I've covered that concept of how AI overviews are going to work 2 years ago, when AI overviews were still a generative search experiment inside Google Labs. There was patent at that time that would explain how those AI overviews are created. And even there, the patent mentioned that they do not just search for the query itself. They try other search queries. They try to search for something else and include more information in the answer that would help a searcher to make a more informed decision. At that point, we didn't know how it was called, but it's in no way a new thing that we have to be dealing with. With the evolvement of AI industry, we now know exactly what it is and how to research those fan-out queries. But before that, I would like to tell everyone that you will see a lot of conflicting information about fan-out technique. And I will explain why. Many of SEOs still think very old school concepts. So what is fan-out? That's probably, what are related queries? Probably those are synonyms, or probably are those keywords that just mean the same way, but they are just worded a little bit differently. No, that is not the case. Fan-out technique is different on case-by-case thing. In case by case, it can be different. Sometimes it's actually related questions questions that people may be asking that may even include the same search query. But then sometimes those fan out queries may have nothing to do with the initial prompt or initial query, in terms of like there are no common words, no synonyms, nothing. That different. They are just meant to help the user more. That is the only thing that the only way to explain fan out. Do not think synonyms. I'm not sure if how many people know that, but I do have a degree in cognitive linguistics, and that is exactly semantic search. So I know how that works, and I've been doing that, implementing that in SEO for many years. But it's not synonyms, and it's not words or terms or phrases that mean the same, or maybe they mean some similar stuff, and maybe they're somehow related to the initial query. No, that is not the case, and I will give a few examples. So do not try to optimize your article for synonyms. I think that is one of the most popular tactics that people discuss in this fan out technique context. It's not, it's absolutely the same. So we have a client who has, let's say, hotels in Florida. Let's say they have a hotel in Fort Myers, and let's say they want people to use to book their hotel anytime they plan a trip to Fort Myers. So what I did is researching fan out technique, fan out queries, fan out questions that could be related to people, could be useful to people that are planning a trip to that exact city. So from top of my mind, if I were, I'm not a travel expert for sure. I know as much about Florida as probably anyone else. So if I were thinking about, okay, which related questions people would be asking making their decisions. For example, from top of my mind, that would be what to do in Fort Myers. But if you think about that, they probably already know if they want to go there. That probably will not be helpful for them as much. So what problems would they really dealing with when trying to go to Fort Myers? And I asked that question to Gemini. I use Gemini a lot because it's Google's, so I'm sure it's running those same technologies and logics is running the Google to some point as well, at least it's AI components. So I'm asking Gemini, what would be useful for someone searching for hotel in Search Myers? And the question Gemini suggested would be, what is the status of rebuilding Fort Myers? Which restaurants have reopened in Fort Myers? And at that point, I realized, yes, the city was very well damaged during the hurricane. So anyone who wants to go there, that's the problem. That's the question they may be asking, not what to do even there. Maybe they will, some of them will be wondering what to do in Fort Myers. But most questions would be about where to go now, what is reopened, what is rebuilt, what is the status of the city, of its vacation places, of its waterfront area. How can I plan my trip based on that? And that is the fan out technique. It has nothing to do with hotels in Fort Myers. It has nothing to do even with places to go, because in most cases, if there is a destination, people already know what to do there. But the status of rebuilding is probably the top question they are asking. And that is, for that, I actually used Gemini. I just uploaded my list of keywords, so you can just type your keyword, your target keyword in Gemini and ask something like, what would be the fan out questions? It knows fan out, by the way. I figured that out through experiments. It knows exactly what that means in the algorithmic SEO world. So I'm asking it what would be related or fan out questions people are asking based on these keywords. And in every case, whatever keyword, so you can download your keyword keywords for every city, for every vacation destination in Florida, it will be different. It will not follow the same route because Gemini does use its training data to understand what's actually happening um, in every destination. And me, I had no idea, but doing that research for a client and finding those questions, I figured out there is the difference between waterfront and oceanfront and beachfront. They are all different. I had no idea, even though I travel so much, and Gemini would tell me that some vacation destinations in Florida are beachfront, like Miami Beach. There are hotels right on the beach. Some of them are oceanfront. Is that when you can see the ocean from your hotel room, but not necessarily the hotel is right on the beach or there is even a beach there. So it's all the fan out research that I was doing for the client. That's when I figured all of that out. So it's useful not just for AI optimization, which of course everyone is talking about. Do it for AI optimization. It's actually useful for those search journeys by addressing those questions on some page where you want people who are traveling to your destination. You may just help them so that they do not have to search more. They will be able to make their decision right on that page. So when I talk about, in most cases, when I talk about SEO, GEO, that is generative engine optimization, AIO, that is artificial intelligence optimization, there is always, I always mention one other factor that's the biggest for me, if it's helpful for the user. 10% of what I'm doing, of how I am optimizing websites, is just for the bots. That's probably schema, that's titles, meta descriptions, are pretty much just for the crawlers. 90% of my optimization strategy is always about the end user, about how they will find the page, about how they will interact with the page, and how much they will have information to make the final buying decision. So fan out technique is much more than that. Check out nsmarty.com, because I do mention a few more ways to expand those search queries that can be fanned out to by AI. That in theory, will help you get found, like get cited in those references to AI answers, and maybe even create very relevant context for you to be even part of the answer as well. So it is helpful. Again, it's a new technique. I don't have any case studies or success stories in regards to how much helpful that is, because AI is evolving very fast. I just saw a tweet from someone, I forgot, I would love to cite that, but how do people optimize for those AI citations if they change every day? And that is very true. AI is changing a lot, especially AI mode and AI overviews. I search sometimes daily, and the results are different every day. So it increases your chances to show up there. Definitely not a magic button, definitely not a guarantee, but you have to know also one thing: it is very helpful for the user, and that would be your biggest motivation behind that. So if you have any questions about that, I know April does, but please do check nsmarty.com for more tools, more examples of how that technique that is AI driven and should be AI optimization is also can be performed, researched. Don't for no way, do not answer all the questions you find online on the single page, but it is very useful in understanding what could be helpful for your customers to cover on your page. In April, I know there are a few questions there that we can address as well.
This one we should kind of just addressed, but
Optimizing for the fan out approach could redefine our strategies. How do we adapt to AI evolution in search? We adapt as it is adapting. So as it is evolving, I would say like that. It's not definitely, they are not done evolving. And I'm saying this, I'm confident in that for one exact reason. None of the biggest AI solutions at this point, at least definitely not ChatGPT, and definitely not Gemini, and definitely not AI mode, none of those is profitable. All those giants, all those huge companies cannot still figure out how to make money from all that AI technology. So they will keep working on it until they figure out, and that will be its development stage when they know how to make money from it. Before that, they change it every month. They change the output, they change algorithms, they change everything. So what we can do in this ever-changing landscape, like ChatGPT would put it, what we can do here is just know the basics. Most of them are SEO driven. So we know the basics. We know the basics of technology, like how to make our website scrollable, how to get found through backlinks, through fast websites. We know that we need to remain relevant, and that is fan out technique is one of those very useful tools that we didn't have before. Now we do. And we know that we need to become an entity. We need to be part of knowledge graphs. We need to be part of training data. Those are basics, fundamentals of online visibility that have not changed much. So I suggest we keep those in mind. And of course, the best, the prime thing that we need to keep in mind is actually our target audience, our customers, do everything for them as well. So all of those are not going to change, and it's not changing. So we keep those things in mind while we, of course, try different tools, different new tactics, like being listed in listicles is one new shiny thing that is doing. Being in Reddit is another huge way into the training data. So we check all those things that we know are working while we keep those fundamentals in mind as well. I think that is the only way to be findable and to remain findable, is not to forget about the fundamentals. Keep those in mind. Whatever you're doing, keep those consistent and experiment with fast, new, shiny tactics out there. Fan out technique, for example, is a new one, but I feel like it's also very useful for your customers. So by all means, that is a great addition to your fundamental part of strategy. Make sure that all your landing pages mention something that would help your customer to do the buying, to make the buying decision, or to solve the problem, whether it's buy from you or just remember you as a good brand that pointed them to the right solution of their problem. Are long tail queries expected to increase? They already increased. I feel 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, Google made public their statistics where they claimed they didn't know 15 search queries that are being 15% of all the search queries that are typed in their search box are new to them. They have never seen them before. So even then, before AI, before voice search, before talking to your ChatGPT or Google, before all those trends became very well adopted, even then 15% of all the search queries were new, like they were just typed once and never again, possibly. So it is going to grow for sure. And once again, at some point, we may lose all of that data, because the more people interact with AI mode, we can see just the top. In AI mode, it's just like ChatGPT. You can converse with it further. You can ask more questions. And in most cases, you will only know the initial query that brought them to the AI mode. But when they stop typing more and more questions, we will not have any track of those. So at some point, we will lose a lot of that data and a lot of long query data. So that is not something we have to be able to learn to live without those keyword trends as well, because at some point, maybe in 5 years, we may lose all of that. Just like 10 years ago, maybe I'm terrible with dates, but when we lost keyword data, search query data in Google Analytics, we thought that was the end of SEO. I still remember all those SEO is dead when the not provided was introduced by Google. So it is not the first, not totally not the first change that we're experiencing in SEO, and when everyone is claiming SEO is dead because of that, there have been a lot of that in throughout the years of SEO. So that's something to keep in mind. What we use today for data and for long tail queries, we may not have it in 2 years or 5 years too. You're muted, April. We don't hear your question.
This is relevant to one of my questions was like, do you think short tail keywords are still going to be important?
As long as we have them, I would still, that is a good first step. Of course, we still extend them. We'd use Gemini or ChatGPT to find alternatives, related, fan out queries. But as the basic, the first step for analysis, they're very helpful, especially for commercial intent, because as we know, informational queries send very few clicks at this point because all the informational queries are answered through AI reviews, AI mode, all of those quick answers that are there now. So anytime it's commercial intent or do query, by all means, whether you stand a chance to rank or not, do cover them on your website, do optimize for them on your website, because you may come up as a reference. You may not be ranking too high, but you can come up as a reference in AI answer or ChatGPT. They do not use the same ranking algorithm Google does. So even though you do not have a top 5 rankings in Google for a competitive short tail query, still do use them on your website. First, if it's helpful for your user to cover that keyword or to answer that query. And second, you can still generate traffic to that through AI answers now.
Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, we have like 2 minutes because I will have another meeting jumping in right there after this one. So let's do another one and then we'll announce the next topic. So could AI help elevate rankings for content written by someone who doesn't know what keywords are because they often fan out naturally when addressing a topic? For sure, I've been advocating using ChatGPT and then now Gemini for keyword research for sure. Ask what people would be searching if they need to find that, or what people would be typing in a prompt as a prompt or search query when they have that problem. So it is definitely helpful. The only thing that I'm missing when I'm using Gemini or ChatGPT for keyword research or discovery is all the SEO data. Like search volume is very helpful because we know the demand for that keyword. We know how many people are likely to be searching for that, or the price for the CP, what is the cost per click, is another useful data to have because we know how many brands are ready to invest to rank for visibility for that keyword. So I still love all the data just because it's additional way for me to understand every keyword, how many people are likely to be searching for that, or how many people are likely to have that problem and I have a solution for. So by all means, and I think that even in my newsletter and smarty.com, I do have the collection of prompts that you can use for keyword discovery in ChatGPT and now Gemini as well. But I would still hate losing keyword SEO data for sure. It's very helpful, but not the first tool we've lost in our 20 plus years of SEO industry, but still would be terrible to let it go. With that, thank you so much for joining us. Next week, Wednesday, 1 p.m. EST, please join us again. We will be discussing intent-based search engines or AI engines. I think one of the biggest things people do not understand about the value. What is the common thing between any search engine and any AI platforms that it is intent based. We give people find solutions to their exact problems, and we need to keep that in mind and optimize for that in the first place, for the visibility everywhere. So please subscribe at smarty.com to get that link to join next Wednesday 1 p.m. EST, or follow me where you can find me and you will be able to join there. Thank you and have a great day or night, depending on where you're watching us from. Thank you, April, too.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.